What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Meathook, entitled Crypts, Coffins, Corpses. This is released on Unmatched Brutality Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, gritty, violent style of brutal death metal. Yeah. If I was going to think of a way to get the ball rolling and start new reviews in 2019 here on this channel, I might as well do it with a band that really has a great idea of what it's like to be consistent, strong, and constantly reliable. And that's what a band like Meathook has been doing ever since they first stepped foot into the brutal death metal world. Of course, if you know Meathook, you know them probably best for their first couple of full-length albums, 2008's Infernal Torture and 2012's Facing Deformity. Both released on very unique and distinctive brutal death metal labels such as Severed Records and Ossuary Industries, respectively. Both albums had really, really killer, sick John Zig artwork. Both albums were very short, sweet, and to the point, and both albums really showcased what type of a band Meathook are and were. Just some really, really sick, evil, and twisted sounding brutal death metal, really grisly lyrics, ugly, guttural vocals, lots and lots of riffs to be heard, really strong stuff. But then in 2017, this band pretty much quietly released a demo of some sorts, giving you a little taste of what was coming from Meathook, giving you an idea of what was going to be released next from them, and it sounded really, really killer. And now we enter a brand new year, and we have one of the very first releases of 2019 being the third full-length from Meathook entitled Crypts, Coffins, Corpses, and this is on a new label that they're on. Of course, if you know Unmatched Brutality Records, that's the label run by Jamie of Brodekeen. His label has just been resurrected, and they are starting to put out more new releases, this particular release especially. It's 9 tracks, and it clocks in at around 31 minutes in length, so this is easily the longest album of Meathook's existence. Not only do I think it's their longest album, but it's probably the strongest material that they've done to date. Everything on this album definitely feels like you're on a little bit of a Wayback Machine journey. You're listening to some really, really genuine, brutal, raw death metal being done here, and I really love the approach that they go for here with this album. From the minute you hear the opening intro of Awaiting Torment and then the next 8 tracks down, you know that Meathook mean business, and they really bring you an awesome, awesome, awesome album here. Lots of great guitar riffs to be heard throughout the majority of this album, from songs like Cauldron of Dead Bodies to the title track to the song Placed Upon the Altar. Really, really terrific job here being done with the guitar playing and songwriting. Very heavy, very brooding, very raw, very meticulous sounding, and definitely a lot of riffs that sound punishing. That's one thing I appreciate about Crypts, Coffins, Corpses is the fact that these riffs lay in some very, very punishing work to be heard throughout this entire album, and I think it sounds badass. I mean, no song runs longer less than 3 minutes, and that's what I appreciate about this record is the fact that all of these songs go by at such a smooth and brisk pace. You just get some really, really great moments to be heard throughout this album with the way these guitars sound, the way they're played, and the way they're executed. It is just great riff creativity going on here. The drumming on this album is so good. I love how raw and over the top this drum performance is. It genuinely feels natural. I love the way the snare is. I love the blasts. I love the fills. I love the momentum going for this drummer. This drummer really doesn't hold up. He really goes for it here throughout the majority of this album, going to songs like Purification Through Pain, Temples Made from Flesh, and even Disseminated Remains. Probably the longest track on here, but yet I think he gets the job done here with this drum performance. It genuinely does feel like a drum performance that harkens you back to the earlier days of brutal death metal, like early 2000s, mid 2000s era sort of style of sounds here with this drum performance, and it's really great sounding. I love this drum performance. And when it comes to the vocals are pretty much the typical Meathook style, very grisly, very guttural, very gross and ugly sounding, and definitely this vocalist holds your attention. He makes you want to pay attention to everything that's going on with this record. It's a very over-the-top sort of vocal performance, but I appreciate what's being done here with the vocals, especially for the types of songs and the sort of construction being done here for a lot of this album. I think it's a really awesome vocal performance, and I think it makes this Meathook album shine a lot. So overall, I think this is probably the best material I've heard Meathook do yet. I know this band has always been consistent in putting out great material, but with Crypts, Coffins, and Corpses, they've taken a lot of things to the next level and really stepped up their game a lot. And it shows here with Crypts, Coffins, and Corpses. It makes you... I mean, if you had forgotten about Meathook, you really have no reason to forget them now with Crypts, Coffins, Corpses. This is a really, really killer album. So, if I do think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Cauldron of Dead Bodies, Purification Through Pain, Placed Upon the Altar, Temples Made from Flesh, and Awakened by the Stench. Really, really top-notch stuff here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Unmatched Brutality Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it, buy it digitally, and it is also available physically as a CD. There are also t-shirt and poster flag options available if you would like to purchase merchandise from the band and support them out. So, again, the album is Crypts, Coffins, Corpses by Meathook. This is released on Unmatched Brutality Records. Definitely check this one out. And for a score, I'm feeling a very, very solid 8.5 out of 10 for this one. Very top-notch brutal death metal release, and definitely one of the high points of the beginning of this new year. So hopefully there will be more great extreme music like this to come, and I'm pretty sure there will be. So if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and how you think it compares to previous Meathook releases. Are any of you guys into Meathook? Definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until next time, Army Ho out.